Good morning, everyone. I hope you guys are all having a blessed week. Mine's going really good. I just wanted to do a quick vlog this morning. My world's been kind of turned upside down here lately doing stuff. The microwave went out and I had to change the microwave. And the one I got was a little bit bigger, so some of the backsplash tile I had to remove 2 rows. That was a chore. And then, of course, it's Christmas, so I had to go out in my garage and get all the boxes down from the rafters and everything so my wife could start decorating. So the house is going through a major transformation. She's just getting started, which means my world gets turned completely upside down. And what I call it is getting discombobulated. I've been completely discombobulated, and I'll show you what I mean here in a minute. And listen. Don't bother telling me, Pastor Bob, you know, Christmas trees are pagan, this, that, and the other. Guys, listen. My wife loves Christmas, and she completely decorates her whole house because we have all the family here on Christmas dinner. And you got to pick your battles, and this is one that I'm not going to win, so I just do whatever she tells me to do, and I let her do her thing. So listen, I wanted to tell you first of all that there's a couple changes coming on the channel, and that is this. Over the years, I have met some really, really wonderful Christian bands. Young people that are getting started in the business, and they produce like demo CDs. And I have a lot of demo CDs from these bands over the years, and they're not copyrighted. So I can put them on my channel. I'll put a nice beach scene in the background with the waves crashing in these songs. So I'm going to start putting those on the channel. And then I think I'm going to start putting all my animations also on the channel. So what I'll do is Wednesday and Saturday will be exactly the same. All my new videos will come up on Wednesday and Saturday. And the other ones, they'll just come up whenever I get them done. So I know you guys are going to like a lot of the music. I mean, I've got everything from Christian rap stuff that is just bizarre, but it's really good. So anyway, that's all coming up. So listen, I want to talk to you about my house for a minute. You know, when I first met my wife, 36, 37 years ago, I think we've been married 36 years. But I met her through a friend of mine. He was a riding friend of mine. We used to ride motorcycles together. And I went to his work. He was a barber. And she worked in a beauty salon in the mall. And when I went there one time with him, that's where I met my wife. So anyway, we had dated a couple times. And then one time, I brought her over to my house. And guys, I still remember that like it was yesterday. I remember her reaction, and I remember exactly what she said when she came into my house. Now, I spent 20 years in the military, and I mean, I treat my house exactly the way I would, a dorm in the barracks or anything like that. It's always clean, everything's put in its place. And so I remember my wife walking through the front door. And she walked in and she stopped. And the first thing that greeted you when you walked in was I had a 100-gallon fish aquarium that covered this whole wall. With all kinds of little exotic fish and the colored lights and everything. And it was pretty nice. But anyway, I had nice furniture. Everything was just really nice. Well, she walks through the front door and she just stops dead in her tracks. And she looks around. And she goes, wow. She goes, I love your house. She goes, man, this is nice. And I don't know, maybe every guy she ever dated before me was a pig and didn't have a nice house. But she was absolutely blown away at how nice my house was. I mean, she walked in the kitchen and looked around the bedrooms, just the whole house. She was just checking out and she was just telling me the whole time how nice it was. So anyway, lo and behold, we get married and she moves in. Well, everything was good. And all of a sudden I would come home from work one day And I would notice that on this table where I used to have a really nice metal sculpture of a motorcycle, well, that was gone, and it was out in my garage, and now there was a vase on that table. And then I would notice a couple weeks later, I would walk in the bedroom, and on the 2 nightstands, where I used to have a Camaro on one nightstand and a nice pickup, you know, these models on another, and they're both gone. And now there's a picture of her mom and dad and her family on one table, and on the other table, my mom and dad. That was cool. And then, a couple weeks later, I'd come home, and in my living room, where I used to have a real nice picture of a Chevelle up on the wall, now that's taken down, and there's some kind of a woodworking piece with a clock or this, that, and the other, and that's in its place. And then I'd come home, and some of my stuff that was in the kitchen would be gone, and there'd be, a vase of flowers there or something else. Well, guys, over the course of about a year, every single thing I owned was out in my garage. And she had completely transformed my house and took it from a bachelor's house to a married woman's house. She completely transformed my house. And what I realized was that when she walked into my house, when she said, "Man, I love your house. I love the way it's decorated," what she was actually saying to me was, "Wow, all this stuff is going to look so good in your garage." So listen, this is a scripture that I wanted to read to you. It's found in Philippians 1:6, and this is what it says. It says, "Being confident of this very thing, that he which has begun a good work in you will perform it until the day of Jesus Christ." People, listen, I'll be 70 years old on my next birthday. And when I look back on my life, and I've been a Christian for a long time, 50 years, I would think that I would be a whole lot farther along than what I actually am. Every once in a while something slips out of my mouth and I go, "God, I can't believe I said that." Every once in a while I'll let somebody irritate me. Just little things like that I still do. I hate, but I wind up doing them. And I think sometimes that I should be a whole lot farther along than I am. And I know a lot of you probably think the exact same thing. But you know what? This piece of scripture right here, God tells us that, listen, I'm doing a work in you. And just like my wife transformed our house, she took my bachelor pad and made it into a married couple's home, a little bit at a time. The same way God is changing us a little bit at a time. And we can't see it. You can't see it every day. Every once in a while you'll have a big breakthrough, but normally it's little bitty steps. And God promises us in this scripture that He says, "Hey, listen, I'm going to take you from this point, and I'm going to bring you all the way to this point. I'm going to bring you to completion." And listen, everything that we're learning right now, each of those little bitty steps, God is transferring us or transforming us into a being that is going to be able to function in heaven. People, God will complete that task. You may think you're not making headway. You may look around in your church at your friends and think that every other Christian's doing better than you. People, they're not. God is working on each and every one of us, and He will bring us to the destination. So anyway, I just wanted you to think about that. And hey, there's another little funny thing about my wife that you have to love, but it's just the way she is. And that's this. you know, every once in a while, we've been married now for 36 years, and this started 36 years ago. Every once in a while, I'll come home from work, right? And I would walk out in my garage, and there would be a picture that I had on the wall of, you know, a nice Corvette or something like that, and that picture would be laying on my toolbox. And I go, what's with that? So I'd walk in the house with my picture of my Corvette, and I'd say, hey, what's with this? And she'd say, oh, listen, I needed a frame, and I didn't have one, so that one was perfect. So I took it, and listen, when I go over to Target or Walmart, I'll pick you up another frame. I went, okay. So lo and behold, a couple months later, I'd come home from work. Pretty soon, there'd be another picture of a motorcycle, a nice panhead or something, be laying on my toolbox. And I'd walk in, and I'd go, what's with this? And she'd go, listen, I needed a frame. So I saw that one, and it was perfect, so I took it. And listen, next time I go to the store, I'll buy you another frame. Okay. So guys, listen. She's probably done that no less than 20 times. How many times do you think she's gone to the store and bought me another frame? Oh, did somebody guess 0? You would be correct. None. So I learned just to let her take my frames as she needs them, and when I go to the store, I buy myself another frame. Guys, listen. Women are completely different than men. They're wired different. They are totally different creatures. And all you can do is love them for who they are and not sweat the small stuff. Pick your battles. So anyway, my house right now is going through a total transformation. All the Christmas decorations are going up, and I'm suffering because of it. And listen, let me show you what I'm talking about. My whole world is what I call discombobulated, completely out of order. And I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. Okay, this is my office. And this is the only room that I have a little bit of control over. Not much, but a little bit, because it's still in the house. So this is the only room where the grandkids do not come into. So of course, all the grandkids' Christmas presents are hidden in here under a sheet, so I can't even get to my bookshelf. So anyway, it's just one of those little things that I deal with during the Christmas season. Now let's go check out one more place. Now another place is my garage. Now you guys know my garage is my castle. It's my shop. It's where I work. It's mine. She gets the house. I get my garage. Well, after we took all the boxes down out of the rafters and brought them down here, guess where they're at? They're all over my garage, everywhere. I'm totally disorganized. I can't even sit in my barber's chair and film. So anyway, what do you do? It's something that I just deal with until Christmas is over. And as you can see, I still got a lot of picture frames up there. So anyway, guys, listen. I want to wish you guys all a Merry Christmas. And this time of the year is a time of stress. It really is. And my only stress was changing out that microwave and having to deal with boxes in my garage. So I guess I got it pretty easy. So when your wife does little things like transform your house, steal your picture frames, put boxes all over your garage, guys, that's nothing. Love them for who they are. That's all you can do. Anyway, Merry Christmas, you guys. Have a blessed holiday season. And just remember, Jesus Christ came to this earth to pay your sin debt. And he rose from the dead to solve your death problems. You put your faith and trust in him, and you will live on into eternity. Heaven or hell, you choose. Just remember, once you take your last breath, it's a done deal.